Is fading, and we're going to be back right after this with more Morning Waffle. And we're back, I guess. I'm almost done sharing this to all the places.
Good morning, Beth. It is a great day for a discussion. Good morning, Heather.
Beth, what do you want to discuss?
Too bad we don't have anything to talk about.
Did you guys gobble till you wobbled at Thanksgiving?
Boy, almost. I'll tell you what. We had the locally harvested wild turkey.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
I saw the picture.
It was.
Did it taste as good as it looked?
It tasted great. Mm-hmm. It was apparently on Adkins. Because this was the
that's a term I hadn't heard in a while.
I know, right? Well, it was keto or something then, shall we say? But the breast on that big fat turkey was about that thick.
Oh, so it wasn't a lot of meat.
Wild turkeys do have a thinner breast, but the last couple I've taken have been pretty
chunky boys.
Chunky, yeah.
This was a tom, which might have been the difference. The one we had last year was a hen, and
I have no
was
idea.
a little
interesting,
a little chunkier.
So you're like, everybody have a sample.
So like Christmas Vacation, just kind of deflated.
It felt a little like that, but it wasn't quite that bad.
We watched that. We always watch that movie on Thanksgiving night.
And Bethany, does your cat by chance like Jell-O? I don't know if a cat does, but I'm sure loving it.
Oh, man. That's good stuff.
We haven't watched that yet, but we will.
I would say that it takes time. You're going to have varying results on wild turkeys. Yep. I'd say there's not going to be much consistency there.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, the place that I hunt, I have taken a 27-pound bird, a 29-pound bird, and a 31-pound bird, and those are crazy big numbers.
Yeah.
Usually, if you get to about 25 pounds, that's a big wild turkey.
Yeah.
So, it's going to depend. One of the biggest turkeys I've ever taken in terms of the size of its fan was only an 18-pound bird.
Interesting.
It looked like a peacock.
It was just
they're like
turkey.
anything else. They just have their own body shape and size. And we celebrate them. No body shaming of the turkeys.
We like the fat ones.
Yeah.
He was tasty. We'll give him that.
I saw a meme that it's thick girl season. Move out of the way. I love that.
The girl's been waiting for these hoodie weather.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm done talking before.
I was going to say,
you guys can't talk. You can laugh, but you can't talk.
Not participating.
I can talk about thick girl season.
Not going to talk about it.
White skinny boy can't engage in this conversation.
Oh, good time.
I just got deleted.
That is not a safe
not
Thanksgiving
canceled. I got
topic.
deleted.
There's safe Thanksgiving topics. That's not one.
Oh, man,
It's like I have the rule is I don't care if I see her giving birth. I'm not asking a woman if she's pregnant.
That's right.
Not going to do it.
Oh, man, I don't either. And, you'll see women that you're like, I know you're pregnant.
What do you do?
I'm not going to make an assumption.
Can't.
Not going to do it.
You can't. Oh, you just can't do it. No way, Jose.
No, that's dangerous.
Hear the stories. And,
it was a very nice Thanksgiving. Of course, the plague descended upon us because if there's time off, there's going to be a plague. and Evie had the terrible cough that's going around. Oh, it was bad. So we quarantined her at Thanksgiving because we're not going to miss it. And so we put her in the JR's office. It's at Sharon Emily's house. And we're like, you stay in here, and people who want to come visit you can come visit.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then she was able to play outside with the kids like later in the afternoon. So
well, do you guys do the thing like you're running so hard like the rest of your life that your body just refuses to be sick until you have time off, and then when you relax, your body's like, okay, now I have time to be sick, and so you always get sick on your days off.
Well, that was me last week, right? So I was kind of feeling it the Saturday, the Friday we drove to St. Louis for the Final Four.
Getting the tickle.
And Sam Wookie literally said after the championship game, like, well, you guys can go home now and get sick.
Get sick.
And I was like, oh, come on, man. He's like, that's just how it works. You're going to have the letdown. And he was 100%. What little tickle I had in my throat became a full-on cold Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. Because I sat there on we had Wednesday, Thursday at Shayna's family's house. And I had slept 10 hours the night before. I was that tired.
Yep.
And then after the turkey or whatever we had, I was just out cold on the couch. Like I just couldn't. My body was like, you're taking a break.
Yeah.
You're taking a break.
I feel like if my brain knows I'm looking forward to something, because I was like, oh, I'm excited about Thanksgiving. The girls are going to be off. We can do fun Christmassy stuff. No. Just coughed in my face. And I felt bad for Evie, but I feel bad for feeling like getting annoyed by this, but when a kid is home coughing all day, it starts to grate on you because you're just like...
Especially when they cough in your face.
When they cough in your face, and they cough on the stuff you're cooking, and they cough on... Yeah. Yep.
That's the way it goes.
But no, and there is a nasty virus going around. It's probably COVID from what I've heard.
Yeah, and there's been some strep throat as well.
Yeah, because I was talking to somebody yesterday who would know, and they were saying that there's a lot of COVID.
There's lots of coronaviruses.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
But anyway, it sucked. So we're back, and she's still coughing. So
spreading it around the school.
Around.
That was the fun part before the trip to St. Louis was going through all the buildings and giving everybody high fives.
Oh, yeah.
So I slapped hands of 700-800 Petri dishes called Children with Hands.
Yes. They do like that, though.
Oh, they loved it.
You have the Purell shower.
We did. Like every building we left was like,
don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your mouth. Keep your hands out. They're infested.
Slapping hands going, oh, that one was wet.
Oh, yeah. Somebody's always wet. That one's sticky.
Ew, sticky hands.
So are we done with the blowing out the candles on birthday cakes like forever? Is that like ever going to happen again?
Are people not doing that?
I thought that was like, that's kind of
no,
like
we blow out.
Well, in fairness, that's probably something that always should have been
a bad idea.
I mean, it's a terrible idea.
Gross.
We're still doing it.
Yeah. So we did, so that's why we did Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday was birthday, Thursday was Thanksgiving. And so we had two little nieces that we celebrated both their birthdays. But we, everybody had their own individual bunt cake.
Ooh, I do like the bunt.
So the idea that they were only blowing out the candle on their cake was pretty awesome.
I mean, that's just a good excuse to have individual bunt cakes.
You wonder if maybe these rituals were all just ways that we used to inoculate the herd.
Well, that's true.
It's like we're all going to get together and blow on the same cake and then eat it. And now we're all immune because we've all got it.
It's brilliant.
Oh, good times.
The old ways were good ways.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They
were ways.
They were ways.
Yeah, we probably make them greater than they were, but some ways they were pretty great though.
Ancient wisdom.
Great. Yes. So we had a good Thanksgiving. I mean, it was awesome. So only had to travel less than an hour.
That's big.
Nice. Slept in my bed, own bed.
That's a win.
I didn't cook anything.
Also a win.
I ate it all. Didn't even have to do dishes. So
yeah, you had a pretty good game. That was fine. Wow. You did good, buddy.
I killed it.
You killed it. O'Doyle rules.
And now that I've said it out loud, I feel like a real bum. But
I was gonna say,
Black Sheep. Nice reference.
People are cringing. They're like, oh, did he? Did he?
We had that relative.
Typical.
Can't stand that guy.
Typical man. Yeah.
You made a Black Sheep reference. That was nice.
I know. That was O'Doyle Rules is from, oh my gosh, it's not Black Sheep. It was probably on Black Sheep. I can't even remember the name of the movie. Maybe it was Black Sheep.
Black Sheep.
I don't know. Anyway, I can sometimes occasionally remember a movie.
They're in another movie too.
It's in another movie too. Yeah. I can't think of what it is.
So it's either an Adam Sandler movie or that was a Chris Farley movie.
Oh, speaking of Adam Sandler movies, he has a new cartoon out, and it's Leo, and it's awesome.
Is it?
Really? Yes. Watch Leo on Netflix.
I've heard that the new Netflix Napoleon movie isn't nearly as funny as the first one.
I don't even know anything about the Netflix Napoleon movies.
That's why the joke didn't land. But that's okay.
I didn't get it. It went right over my head.
That was a joke.
That was a joke.
None of us did.
Thanks, folks. I'll be here all week.
Yeah.
No, there's a Napoleon movie, and people were making fun of it because they were saying, well, I thought it was going to be Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now it's a legit Napoleon movie.
Now we're tracking. Yeah, the
Now,
Napoleon
this is a
Dynamite's
Napoleon
better.
movie out in theaters too, or is this just on Netflix?
I don't know. But the new Leo cartoon, the Adam Sandler, it's awesome.
Okay.
It's good, and it's
if I
not.
had Netflix, I'd check it out.
It's not. There's times you think it's going to go one direction, and it goes the other
Stays
direction.
safe.
It stays safe, and you're
All
like,
right.
"Oh, we're in a
nice.
safe zone."
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right.
Thank you.
Scared for just a moment.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So it is good. I enjoyed it a lot.
So I did finally, I canceled my DirecTV.
Okay, you're done.
D-Stream TV.
We were just making fun of that on Thanksgiving Day. Like, who still has Dish?
No. I don't have Dish. D-Stream.
Oh, okay.
I
all right,
D-Stream
all
because there's always a thing where you like I want to watch this show, and like, well, log into your TV provider,
Right.
and that will give you access. So I was always a little. We never watched D-Stream app, but it was always the thing we used to log into Paramount or Food Network or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was always a little nervous about canceling because, well, am I going to lose access to all this stuff? You know what? I didn't lose a thing.
Oh man.
And so I was paying $110 a month for something I honestly
Holy
didn't need. They just
moly.
had. Well, you started at $59 a month.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
how
they've
we
just
were with YouTube TV. Like, started at 49
Yep.
something, and
And
now
then they
we're up
get
to
ya.
like almost 90 or something like that.
Well,
It's just
I
stupid.
canceled it. It's been 4 weeks, and I haven't. There's been nothing I haven't had. There was
Interesting.
one app that I had to go in and get their subscription for like $5 a month.
Yeah.
But that's so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm safe. You can cut.
I'm safe.
You can cut the cord. I'm saving $100 a month. Not
Well,
having
that-
D-Stream.
yeah, that's big
But that's
time.
the way I think it always should have been. It's like, I want that channel. I'll pay for that channel.
If we could do that, we're kind of stuck a little bit because some of the things we want to watch is mainly soccer games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have that subscription, but you end up having to have that and this other streaming service and this other streaming service,
so
and it's
squirrely.
Well,
Army-
so
listen
one
to-
of the things that kept us going so long was we were wanting to watch Cardinals baseball.
Yeah.
and I don't have that right now.
And I don't have it either, and frankly, I don't miss it.
Well, last
because-
summer I didn't miss it one bit.
It was
Right.
yeah. It was
Saw they
rough.
made a signing of a good pitcher yesterday.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling good about not wanting to watch it anymore, not caring whether I watch it anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
once they added all the stupid rules, it's not the game I like to watch anyway.
I agree.
So.
I agree.
It definitely has changed.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what AT&T did to us this week. They raised our bill because, Jesse has a credit card and puts everything on his credit card and pays it off. That's just what he does.
Get the points.
And it's
yeah.
get the points, and it's pretty safe and, whatever. So AT&T raised our bill because we're paying with a credit card. But if we put a debit or a checking account on there, they'll remove that fee.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't you get charged the percentage on a debit card too?
Well, it's different.
It's different.
Is it
and
different?
The ACH is even less
ACH is
on the-
cheaper, yeah.
I didn't know how that worked, honestly.
Well, and I don't know.
ever-
For me, credit or debit card costs me the same as a seller.
Yeah.
I'm sure AT&T's got special deals.
Well, that's they all work with each
It's
other.
But I do know
Yeah.
that if I can, my ACH rate is a lot lower
Right.
than my credit card rate.
Right.
Of
What's
course,
what's ACH?
it's where we just take it straight out of your
auto
checking
withdrawal.
account.
Yeah.
Oh,
Auto
from your
withdrawal.
checking account? Yeah.
Auto debit.
It's been almost 9 years since I set that up for the church, and we have a different system now. But I remember it being much cheaper, like cents
Well,
for
credit card,
ACH. but-
credit card's like 3%.
Yeah, that's the
right.
number I had in my
ACH
mind.
is like 1%.
Right.
So it's a third
Right.
of the cost.
Yes.
Interesting.
But if you just write me a check, then it's free.
Right.
And I really like that.
Mm.
So it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
But, we
It is a
offer all that for our
huge
clients
pain.
because it's convenience.
It is
and want to
convenient.
pay it. And,
It's just a huge pain in the butt if your debit card gets messed up or your checking account gets messed up. It's a huge pain.
For sure.
Credit
Yeah.
card, you can handle it pretty easily. Debit cards and checking accounts, it's no bueno. It's not good.
I've not had a lot of trouble with my debit card. I've had it get stolen a couple of times from Arvest, and Arvest has always been really good.
It's weird. I've never had issues with Arvest.
I haven't
I'll blow
either.
your
They've
mind.
never-
I have never used a debit card.
Wow.
Ever.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So you're just credit card or like checkbook?
Credit card or old-fashioned checkbook, but
I
a lot of
keep a
stuffs
checkbook
are
with me.
on auto pay now. But yeah, I just hate debit card because I feel like it's just not as safe. And with
It's
credit
not.
card, I get the points, and it's got some
Yeah.
safety features on it that, yeah.
I don't use my debit card very often, usually. But, it's funny. Before debit cards came out, which I'm that old.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember that.
Do you? Okay, I was
Yeah.
like your eyebrows raised. You may not remember.
I think I
had
remember
when I was a relatively young man. I had a Discover card, and I actually used it like a debit card. I set it up to where it auto paid the balance every month straight from my checking account.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was using what was known at the time as the Bank of Fordland, which doesn't exist anymore, and it blew their mind. They're like, "You want to do what?"
Sorcery.
I'm like, "I want to authorize my credit card to automatically withdraw the payment every month from my checking account. They're going to debit my account and pay my card off every month automatically." You want to do what? Like, I just need, they're going to auto debit the account. They're going to take the money. Well, let me check. And we went back and we signed authorizations. And I mean, it was a huge deal to allow them to do that.
Because you can do that?
You can do that, yeah. But it worked like a debit card because,
Right.
I used the credit card and then it auto paid it every month and it worked great. I had a little handwritten ledger. I kept track of it in.
And probably back then, Discover was kind of the forerunner for the whole point system thing too, and the cash back.
You got 1% cash back. It was the only place that that was their big selling point.
I'm assuming was your motivation for doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
This is such a random
but it was the only cash back card there was.
We're so
What was that?
old.
Somebody say something.
I'm just laughing at this randomness of this conversation.
Back in the old days.
Back in the old days when
yeah.
I used to legit, balance my checkbook register every month down to $2 when I was in college.
Where's that 2 cents?
Where's that 2 cents? Sorry, in the meantime, where you're talking about credit cards, my brain went off on a tangent. I had to look up where O'Doyle rules come from. It's Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Yeah, they also make an appearance in. That's right, because they're in all the. There's one of them in every grade.
That would make sense.
And then they make another. I think in Black Sheep they go off the cliff in their car. They're O'Doyle rules.
Yeah, that would make sense.
They go right off the cliff. That one, so yeah.
Good stuff. It is incredible though on the money front how that's changed because when I was totally in high school and college, it was you balance your checkbook down to the penny. Maybe it was supposed to balance, right? And now that I don't know anybody that does that.
You just every day.
You couldn't.
You check your.
Honestly, you couldn't because
I got my app and it shows me what's in, what's out.
And you order something from Amazon and the amount changes a little bit. And it'd be a nightmare to try to balance one.
Yeah.
Well, we still do that for the businesses. You still do that every month. You got to reconcile and all that because you got to keep it square.
Reconcile. Yeah.
Bank reconciliations, fun times.
My bookkeeper people, they reconcile every month against the statements for all the businesses.
It'd just be hard as an individual to do that, especially who lives a modern type lifestyle.
Well, and the other thing is, the month doesn't mean what it used to be. We just have this continual treadmill of life rather than this month's bills and this month's bills.
That is
some bills are
interesting.
weekly, some are monthly.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't get paid. It's just this recurring.
Well, and usually the bills due whenever you set the account up, and there's no.
It's not like the bills aren't due at the end of the month; they're due whenever they're due.
Right.
And so it's just this endless cycle of
It's
money in, money out.
a chore to try to get all your bills to line up.
Yeah.
If you want to do
really
that,
is,
because you do have some leeway with some of them. Like, well, hey, let's not start that service until then, so we can get our statement. Or if you the last time we refied, they ask, when do you want to pay this?
I had the weirdest situation happen. Mortgages, you don't mess around on accidentally paying them late. Okay, it's a big problem if it happens. It will stay on your credit for 7 years if you pay your mortgage late. And I mean late. Not after the first, but after the late date.
Right. Yeah.
So, I made and I've always paid extra on my mortgage just because that's just what I've done since the beginning of being a homeowner back in 2008 or 2007, I think. And so, I paid extra
That's a big
on my
difference, by the way, 07 or 08.
I was sitting there thinking, I was like, And so I made my payment, and then I got to noticing a couple down the line that it was saying that I was a month ahead. I was like, well, that's weird. And then I got to looking back at my statements, and it was saying there was no statement for, I think it was October, didn't exist. I was like, what I called the company. They couldn't explain to me what had happened. I'm like, well, where's my October statement? They couldn't explain. Finally, after 3 or 4 or 5 phone calls, and I think it took 10 days to figure it out, when I had paid over normal, instead of going the overage to principal, it paid 2 bills. The system just decided to do that.
No, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's what's a little shady about some of this stuff is they show you prepaying your interest rather than reducing your principal.
Right.
And that's a scam.
Yeah.
That's shady because that means they keep charging you interest on the full principal, even though you have overpaid.
You've been trying to get ahead, and you're
and
not.
They're not.
Anywhere.
They're just saying, "Oh, you prepaid your interest," and they're not taking off your principal. So watch that. That's
but
actually
the crazy thing is I couldn't fix it because it was several months down the line, and they're like, if you fix this, it's going to act like you didn't make a payment. It was a convoluted mess. But the whole point of me telling that kind of boring story is. It was so hard to get an answer. Yeah. And like you could tell the people that I was talking to had no clue what was going on.
That's a great call to the Attorney General's office, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's got to be some recourse on it, because that just costs you money.
Yeah,
but I'm amazed. So when you deal with somebody on customer service calls like that, or you're doing a chat, it's like that movie, remember Ants, where the twig falls, they're in a line, and they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Once hey, just follow me. We can do this. We go around, but they don't have the ability to know the workaround. There's some times where it's like, there is such a simple workaround, but they're not given permission to do that.
No.
They're like, in your mind, like, this is common sense. Just fix this.
Just fix it. Just go back and fix it.
But they have a system, and if you deviate from the system, it screws up everything, and they don't know how to deal with it. And
I love systems. I love building systems.
Yeah, but you have to have an ability to make little tweaks and fixes in the system.
You have to have somebody over the system that has the training and experience and qualifications to fix it when there's a problem. Yeah. That's the manager.
The problem with systems is when people that are operating the systems don't know how the system works
or why it works.
Correct.
Yeah, why it works.
So they don't have any ability to get around it. And, I used to all the time.
That's the problem.
Back when computers were kind of a novelty and we were starting to use computers, I was kind of the guy they would go to, like in the different offices I worked, the prosecutor's office, and go, hey, how does this work? How do you do this? And everybody always said, well, just write down what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, I can write it down, but then all you're going to do is follow this recipe. And if something doesn't work right,
you understand why we do what we do.
You need to know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So like a very, not mortgage situation, but the other day I bought a suit online. Oh. And I know my newest suit was like 12 years old. No, I'd already been to the store and tried it on. So it was a Cyber Monday deal.
That's risky.
It was a Cyber Monday deal. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get the discount there. And so anyway, I had points also, which got me an extra $10 off, right?
Very nice.
What happened though was even though I had gone in and selected which store I wanted them to send it to, in case it was wrong size, I could be there. So I set it, I hit save, and somehow one, like the pants were going to be delivered to the house. The other one was going to be delivered to the store, but it didn't do Battlefield Mall. It did somewhere in Chicago.
Oh, no.
So I get on the chat, and I'm like, hey, here's this issue. Can you fix this? I can't fix this, but I can cancel the order, and then you can reorder. And I'm like, great, that sounds simple.
And now you've lost your points.
He's already canceled it, and it occurs to me, I'm like, oh, will my points show back up so I get that extra $10? And he goes, it will show up, but it'll show up in 24 to 48 hours. And I said, hey, that's no bueno because this is a Cyber Monday deal. Will this sell still be good by the time he's points? And he goes, I'm not in that department. I can't tell you if that sale's still going to be good. So in my mind, I'm like, surely you have a $10 code you can throw at me.
Just do it.
Just give me a code. He literally has no way to override that. So I'm thinking, dude, you have to have a $10 coupon code you can just throw at people. But he had no ability to fix the situation.
That's the issue.
Shayna eventually was like, you know what? You're going to end up going in there and buying a new dress shirt for the suit anyway, so just use it on that. But I'm like, but it feels like they're winning. I didn't like this. Yeah. I want them to do the right thing here.
Sometimes that's a problem.
But it's just so I ended up
I'm pretty... It's unnerving that this tech stuff and these companies have gotten so big that you don't have those managers that have the ability to just fix things anymore that understand the system. And we also don't have as many, I feel like we don't have as many long-term employees working positions.
That's a problem, but I think more than that, I think there's a generational thing here. And I'm talking about the generation we live in, not a age group generation.
Yeah.
We have a situation where people don't know how to be problem solvers.
No.
Like I promise you, I would have, if I'm that guy, I would have been like, hey, let me scour the internet real quick and see if I can find a coupon code. You know, like, because that's what I was doing on my other tab while he was looking this up. Yeah. But you know, it's just no ability to say, hey, hold on, let me check with my manager and see if there's a code I can throw in here.
If you know this, if you know the story, I have the fringes of it, but there is one of my business entrepreneurial coaching stories brings this to mind. There is a hotel chain somewhere, and it's one of the fancy ones. I don't know what it is, but they literally have said they've told all their employees, for our guests, you can do, whoever you are, maid, clerk, bellhop, whatever it takes to solve a guest problem, you can do.
You have authority.
You have the authority to do that.
And we'll talk to you later if you went too far with that, right? Yeah. Exactly. We can coach you through that.
Coach that.
And I mean, everybody in the organization has the ability to solve every problem for their guests.
That's right.
And I wish I knew what company that was. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's brilliant. It's like, you can do it. Whatever it takes, you can do it. And I think that's very empowering. It's very helpful to everybody in the world.
Right.
And you just think about the loyalty that you build when, like, oh, they solved my problem and they didn't have to jump through hoops.
Well, that's the kind of boss I am too, where I don't want to micromanage you. I want to hire good people that I trust to make good decisions. Now, if it's massive and you're not sure, let's have a conversation about it. But I want to empower you to do the job I hired you to do. And Beth made a really good point. People see it as a job, not a career.
Yeah, that's true.
And mixed words there a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, what's a job or what's a career? Do you care, or are you just there working to get a paycheck?
Well, I used to always want to hire people that I had what I call the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care where you are my employee, if you work for an hour, if you work for commission, if you work on salary. I want your thought process about how we deal with problems and clients and solutions to be the same as mine, which is what's the overall good for the business, which is generally what's overall good for the client.
Yeah.
Or the customer. And if you can think that way, that I think that way, then we're probably going to reach the same or very similar conclusions in every scenario.
Yeah.
So that actually converted to the way that almost all of my employees are paid virtually 100% commission based on what our business earns. And that keeps alignment really well.
Yeah. Well, there's the difference between maybe a job or a career. I'm not just punching the hours on the clock there.
Everybody has some skin in the game.
Everybody's working towards the same goal.
Yeah,
and I mean, honestly, that may be a big part of the problem. The herd mentality is not working towards the same goal anymore. That doesn't exist. I mean, people are ping-ponging around everywhere. And I mean, the interesting thing that I see in my job, and I didn't, back in the management days, I could if I could fix a problem, I fixed it for people. I would move mountains. I'd be on the phone with hours with credit services, unless I thought you were a thief, and then I didn't really cater to you. But I catered.
That matters.
That matters.
Attitude means a lot.
Because honestly, there's a lot of companies that tell you we don't care or cater to thieves. We just don't care. That's common practice in retail. I didn't feel that way, but and my company was pretty supportive of that at the time. They may not be now, but if I would move a mountain for somebody to fix a problem for them, it felt good for me. It felt good for them. It creates a loyal customer. And I usually had systems and ways to do that. The thing that I see now is I see a really weird, in the real estate side of it, is I see this really weird confidence from other agents, even buyers, even sellers of, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be very aggressive and very, nitpicky. I'm confident. And then we get to the thing that has to get done and they fail. There's all this like crescendo leading up to, I'm confident, I'm empowered, I can do all these things. And then, oh, by the way, you didn't get anything done.
Now you got to do the paperwork.
You got so worked up in telling us how smart you were, or telling us how experienced you were, or being put together, that you forgot to actually get the task done, which in this case, close a house, get inspection stuff done.
Right.
It's very weird. And we've labeled in the office this confidently wrong. And now that I've said it,
I've been confidently wrong many times.
Oh, yes. And we all have done that, especially stubborn, intense personalities are notorious for that.
I don't know anybody like
that. I don't know anybody like that. I'm not stubborn. Neither is my daughter.
You know what we've
had to grow out of some of that.
What we run into every once in a while is, we do our estate plans for people all the time, and 99% of our cases go really smooth. People tell us what they want, and they do that. And then we have some other people that they get so far down the process and they realize they don't want to do what they said they wanted to do, or they change their mind, or they told us something wrong. And we have a process. If you do this, then we can make changes. But if it's like last minute, then that's a lot of work for us. We got to reprint everything and all that. And sometimes people are very understanding, like we need to change your signing, or if you really want to do it, we need to charge you a little extra for that. But then you've got these people, and I don't know what it is, but if it's just the innate way of our culture says it's just too embarrassing to admit we made a mistake wrong, they will insist that we screwed up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we didn't tell you that. I'm like, we literally have it on video.
Yeah.
We literally, we have a system.
Oh, and they won't admit it.
They will not admit that they changed their mind, gave us the wrong information. They insist that it's our fault.
Yep.
And they make it this huge thing. It's like, if you would just admit, no, we changed our mind, or maybe
we can work with that,
or maybe you might have made a mistake, but if you just double down on that, it's our fault. Like, listen, we have things in place to make sure we don't make those mistakes. We have to.
Yep.
So we know what we did right. We know what we did. There's no way we could have had that information if you hadn't given it to us.
Right. Yes.
So we know where this happened, and to just double down that it's insisting it's our fault and not yours doesn't really make us want to help you.
Yeah.
But if you'll just say, hey, we need some help,
so I always want
happy to help.
Try to create a culture where mistakes are okay.
Yeah, mistakes are okay.
And that's, in fact, they're expected.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to me. Like with my children, with people that work with me and for me, like,
we expect to learn from them.
Yeah.
We expect you to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, don't be embarrassed because you made a mistake. Let's just talk about it so we don't make the same mistake again. And that's a really high value for me.
Great story about a company where a vice president executive made a mistake, cost the company $1 million. Got called into the boardroom. You know the story?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know the story.
Yeah, I know the story. And he was ready to be fired. And they just said,
he just expected it.
Just expected to be fired. It cost the company $1 million. And they called him in. They went over the mistake, everything that happened. And they're like, okay, go back to work. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like,
I brought my key.
We just paid $1 million for this lesson. We're not letting you go.
Yeah.
But we've invested in you.
We've invested $1 million to make sure this never happens again.
Yep.
So no, you now have learned the lesson. We're not paying that mistake again.
That's right, Beth. Mistakes are learning opportunities. And good morning, Diana.
Hey, Diana, how are you?
It's interesting. I feel like there's a lot of people, and I hate to target the younger generation because my generation is definitely guilty of this too. Getting hyper focused on the fluff of an industry or a business and forgetting the meat and potatoes of it. You can't always be bacon and chives and sour cream. Yeah. Sometimes you need to be the baked potato.
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit the
it's not always avocado toast.
It's not always avocado toast. I was going to say
it's maybe a little bit the Pinterest generation.
And again, 100%.
I'm not talking about an age group. I'm talking about the age we live in.
Yes, the current world.
Yeah, it's very
players
much
of varying
image
ages.
driven.
It is I'm going to build this incredible website and I'm going to offer these deals and I'm going to do all these amazing things. Well,
if you can't come good on your promise,
you got to answer your phone and go,
do the
pour
hustle.
the driveway.
You have to answer the phone. Are you sure about that phone?
Yeah, or the text.
Answer the message.
You have to actually show up and do the work that you're displaying all the fluff for. And I mean, it's mind blowing to me, and it's making me. It's really unnerving for the future of the service industry, the trades and stuff like that, because robots can't do everything. Robots are not building houses right now. I guess they're building them in factories and shipping them, but robot on a large scale, that can't happen, right? And they're probably not going to show up at your house and unclog a toilet anytime soon because whoever's in the robot business isn't working on unclogging robot toilets. They're working on ones that, do AI. So it's interesting. I don't know what it's going to be like in 20 or 30 years. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know I've raised my kids to show up and do the hustle. Enjoy the hustle. Enjoy the hard work. Because anybody can talk. Anybody can create a picture, a website, a promise. But can you deliver on that promise? That's what people want to know.
Well, I mean, that's what if you say what you mean and mean what you say. Right. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it.
Yep.
Yes.
That's probably the thing that I've run into over the course of 20, 30 years of frustrating is if you tell me you're going to do it by Friday, I don't really care if you get it done by Friday, but I want to at least hear from you by Friday.
Right.
Yeah. I want to know
something came up. it's going to be Monday now.
Yeah, don't let Friday come and go and not talk to me.
Yeah.
It's like I had an expectation. If you need to change the expectation, change the expectation. But don't just let it come and go and not let me hear from you. That's very frustrating.
Well, it's a problem too because communication is the key to this stuff, and you have to communicate with each other, whether it's call or text or email or whatever. But I think there are a lot of people who have become afraid to communicate, like they're communicating in such a just bullet point basis that the whole thing is not getting.
I think we maybe in our heads imagine the worst case scenario about those conversations.
100%, yes.
You think,
I'm guilty of that.
Conversation, and I don't want to have it. And I think there's been one time that I had a conversation that went as bad or worse than I thought it was going to go in my head. Most of the time, it goes much better. I think maybe one time, maybe twice, that it went worse or as bad. I'm like, that went just as bad as I thought it was going to go.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Maybe once or twice. But usually it's a lot better because most of us have some compassion for each other.
Yeah. Well, and I think if somebody, they've selected somebody to do something for them and that person's communicating, explaining a reason, it makes sense, you're going to have some grace in the situation, I would think, most of the time.
Most of the time.
Unless you're just a crazy, irrational person. So.
Who never makes mistakes, I'll be right.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're running a little short on time here, but there's a big thing coming up, this Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah?
Yeah. The parade.
Oh!
We'll help you out there, Lauren. She's still thinking about
I was like, what are we doing on Saturday?
She was thinking about phone calls, texts, and emails she had to answer.
She hadn't even got to Saturday yet.
I was like, what are we doing on Saturday?
The Christmas
that's
parade,
exciting.
Rogersville Christmas Parade. We'll be live streaming it right here on K-ROG and Planet 417, so tune in if you're not at the parade route, and you can watch me and Lauren try to guess which floats are coming down the street.
It'll be fun.
Because they give us a list, and it wasn't right. Last year it was awesome. It was like, it's not, but that was entertaining. We were just trying to guess. And we'll try to have a camera on the parade, camera on us, and some lights, and maybe you can even see what's going on.
That would be cool. Right. Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll be live from Lauren's driveway.
From the corner of Main and McDaniel, a bustling corner.
Stop by and say hi.
Movie metropolis.
Stop by and say hi if you want to.
That's so funny.
This heavy wind looks like the Nutcracker lost his nuts.
There was.
One of the subtle funny lines from Christmas Vacation when it's on the TV in the background. The parade's going on.
It really is subtle stuff.
Never picked on that up.
Oh, have you not? Go back, yeah.
There's one in their Walmart scene, too, where they're getting the dog food, where he's like, was that your company, Clark, that killed all those people? Or something like that.
We missed out on that one.
We missed out on that, lady.
What about the kids? Kids can fend for themselves. No, not the preacher's kids, your kids.
There was a float during the Macy's parade where its hand was deflated.
Oh, that's funny. Was he doing one of these?
There was a lot of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade floats that were like part deflated.
They had
this
some
year.
issues. I think they're Mylar. I think it kind of looks like Mylar.
There's probably new regulations on what they can fill the floats with.
Yeah, the floppy.
There was a lot of like Snoopy's hat was like drooped over his eyes.
Now he's Snoop Dogg. Snoop Doggy Dog.
I was like, these floats are not holding up well.
We were watching one last thing. We were watching the parade. Evie was excited about it. We were watching it. I'm like, this is weird coverage of the parade. What channel are we on? Like 45 minutes in, and we were on the
Springfield
parade. We were on the CBS, not the official Macy's parade.
It was the Kmart parade.
Why is this lame?
I think it's like, and this is the new blah blah blah. I know none of these people. I don't know who any of them are.
I didn't know either.
It was kind of on. I think it was in the room for like 5 seconds, and there was some Korean hip hop or not hip hop band.
K-pop.
K-pop. Yeah.
I had to explain to the girls what K-pop was.
My son had to explain to me. So
somebody comes on and says, "This is a TikTok sensation." I'm like, "They're
what?
I was like, who's the Korean NKTOB? Like, what's going on here?" Yeah, that's
NKTOB.
He's like, "Oh yeah, they're all the thing. Yeah, they're all the rage." And I'm like,
okay.
The other thing was they made a musical out of that now. It's like everything's now been made into a musical.
There was a musical. I was like, what?
I can't remember what it was. Shrek the musical now, and there was something else that they turned into a musical.
There's one that I'm not going to say because I don't want to be deemed as insensitive. But I was like, what? Okay.
Well, you tell me later.
I'll tell you later.
All fair.
Wow. Right.
Okay, it's 8:30.
All right,
we gotta go. We'll be back next week with more Morning Waffle. Thanks for being here.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.